Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. So today I am going to be doing my predictions on the 2022-2023 NFL season. Now I'm not going to sit here and do every single explain every single little game that's going on here. And I'm not sponsored by Starbucks, thank you very much. So you see on the bottom I can't get rid of it. Uh but I'm not sponsored by the NFL either, or NBC, or Peacock. But I'm not going to sit here and explain every single game. I'm going to kind of go through my predictions. Because I explain every single game, it's going to take too long, and I don't want this video to take forever. I'm going to do this in weekly order here, if I can figure out how to switch weeks up here. There we go. And I'm going to start off here. I am going to say Colts and Texans. I think the Colts are going to win this one. Steelers versus Bengals. I think the Bengals are going to start the season off hot with this one. Ravens versus Jets. I think the Ravens win this one. Patriots versus Dolphins. I think the Dolphins are going to win this one. I can't believe you can do a tie. Yeah, I'm not doing that, but I just realized you could do a tie. Raiders versus Chargers. I'm going to start the Chargers off hot with a win this season. Bills versus Rams. I think the Bills come off the first win of the season against the Super Bowl champs, and the Super Bowl champs start kind of bad. So that's what I'm going to go with here. Jaguars versus the Commanders. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to get off to a hot start this year. I think the Commanders are going to have a little bit of fixing to do with the quarterback. I think once Carson Wentz gets on point, the Commanders will start winning some games. But I got to go with the Jaguars on this one. Browns versus the Panthers. This is a tough one. Well, I think with a healthy Christian McCaffrey, and if Baker Mayfield at least plays averagely, I think the Panthers will beat the Browns. If the Browns had Deshaun Watson, I would give it to the Browns. But if Baker Mayfield can play at least average, and he can get the ball to Christian McCaffrey with a healthy Christian McCaffrey on the field, I think the Panthers can win. Chiefs versus the Cardinals. I think the Chiefs are going to start off with a win against the Cardinals. Giants versus the Titans. The Titans are going to start off with a win against the Giants. Broncos versus the Seahawks. The Broncos are going to beat the Seahawks. That's not even a question. 49ers versus the Bears. 49ers are going to beat the Bears. The Bears got nothing on the offensive line. Their team sucks. I love Justin Fields, but it's just not going to work. It's not going to happen for him. Eagles versus the Lions. The Eagles are going to start off with a win. Saints versus the Falcons. The Saints are going to start off with a win on this one. Packers versus the Vikings. I think the Packers start off with a win against the Vikings. Buccaneers versus the Cowboys. They're starting that off again this season. I think the Buccaneers beat the Cowboys to start the season. All right. So week 2 of the NFL season. At the Chargers versus the Chiefs. Are there any teams on by? No. Sure. There shouldn't be teams on by until like week 5, but Chargers versus the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs beat the Chargers. Actually, for the first game, I think the Chargers take the Chiefs. The Chiefs are going to start 1-1. Patriots versus the Steelers. I think the Patriots are going to beat the Steelers. Colts versus the Jaguars. I think the Colts are going to get their win again. Wait. Is this at the Jaguars? I think it is. Hold on. Hold on, let me look. If this is at Jacksonville, the Colts have a hard time winning in Jacksonville. They've lost the last 4 years in Jacksonville. So let me see here. Colts at Jaguars, yep. So, home. I could have looked up there. Anyway, I think the Colts finally break their losses in Jacksonville by beating the Jaguars. Jets at Browns. I think the Browns will beat the Jets. Dolphins at Ravens. I think the Ravens will beat the Dolphins this year, even though the Dolphins lost the Ravens last year. The Texans at the Broncos, and the Broncos will beat the Texans. Bills at Titans. I think the Bills go on and beat the Titans. Cardinals at Raiders. I think this is where the Raiders get their first win of the season. Bengals at Cowboys. The Bengals are going to beat the Cowboys. Buccaneers at Saints. I think the Buccaneers beat the Saints. Panthers at Giants. I got to go to the Panthers. Healthy Christian McCaffrey and Baker Mayfield keeps playing averagely. I think the Panthers win that. Commanders at Lions. I think the Commanders are going to beat the Lions. I think Carson Wentz is going to get in a groove against the Lions. Lions will win. They're just going to start off kind of cold because that's what they're going to do. I think the Lions do win more games than they win last year. Falcons at the Rams. I think the Rams will beat the Falcons. Seahawks at the 49ers. I think the 49ers will beat the Seahawks. Bears at the Packers. The Packers will beat the Bears. The Vikings at Eagles. I think the Vikings will beat the Eagles. Steelers at Browns. I do think the Browns win. The Steelers are going to have a rough start to the season. Raiders at Titans. I think the Raiders beat the Titans. Do I have the Titans going 0-3 right now? I don't. They're 1-2. Ravens at Patriots. I'm going to give it to the Ravens. The Patriots starting 0-3? No, they're 2-1. Okay. Bengals at Jets. The Bengals will beat the Jets. Chiefs at Colts. Yeah, the Chiefs over the Colts. Bills at Dolphins. I think the Bills will beat the Dolphins. Jaguars at Chargers. Chargers will beat the Jaguars. Texans at Bears. I think the Texans will beat the Bears this year. I don't see the Bears being very good. I think they're going to have one of the worst records in the league. And it's not going to be because of Justin Fields. I'll tell you that much. 49ers at Broncos. I think the Broncos beat the 49ers. Lions at Vikings. I think the Vikings will get the first one against the Lions. Eagles at Commanders. I think the Eagles will start off in a win against the Commanders. Saints at Panthers. I think the Saints will beat the Panthers. Falcons at Seahawks. I think the Falcons will beat the Seahawks. Rams at Cardinals. I think the Rams will beat the Cardinals. The Cardinals are going to get a bad. I think the Cardinals are going to get a bad start this year, without D Hop and with I think Marquise Brown was a possibility. He wasn't going to be there, so I think they might have a bad start this season. Packers at Buccaneers. I hate it. I think the Buccaneers are going to win. It hurts me to say it, but I think the Packers can beat the Buccaneers this year. I just don't see it happening. I think maybe we meet in the playoffs, maybe, but I don't see it happening. Cowboys at Giants. The Cowboys are going to beat the Giants. Giants are going to have one of the worst records, and it's not going to be Brian Daboll's fault either. Dolphins at Bengals. The Bengals will beat the Dolphins. Chargers at Texans. Chargers will beat the Texans. Titans at Colts. I think the Colts start off with a win against the Titans. I think the Colts are going to be the best team in the league this year. Not league, but best team in the AFC South. Bills at Ravens. I think the Bills will beat the Ravens. Jets at Steelers. I think this is where the Steelers are going to get their first one of the season. Fortunately, the Jets are going to keep losing. Broncos at Raiders. Do you think the Broncos beat the Raiders? Browns at Falcons. I think the Browns beat the Falcons. The Browns are 3-1. Wow. Okay. Didn't expect that. Jaguars at Eagles. I gotta give it to the Eagles. Eagles will beat the Jaguars. Patriots at Packers. I think the Packers will beat the Patriots. Once again, I'm not trying to be Packers biased here. I just didn't really think that's going to happen. Chiefs at Buccaneers. They're also missing J.C. Jackson. I feel like Aaron Rodgers is going to make something out of that. They don't have J.C. Jackson because he's gone. Yeah. Chiefs at Buccaneers. I think the Buccaneers are going to get a loss to the Chiefs. I think Patrick Mahomes is going to prove he can do it without Tyreek Hill. Vikings at Saints. I think the Vikings beat the Saints. Commanders at Cowboys. The Cowboys beat the Commanders. Eagles at Lions. As the Lions are going to start getting their wins, man. Lions are going to beat the Seahawks. Bears at Giants. Fortunately for the Giants, it's unfortunate for the Bears. I think the Giants are going to beat the Bears. I said, man, I want the Bears to win. I mean, I don't, but I do because I like Justin Fields. But the team is just so bad. Darnell Mooney, and it's bad, man. I don't know what else to say. Cardinals at Panthers. I think the Cardinals will get a win here against the Panthers. The Cardinals are going to finally start getting themselves some wins. Rams at 49ers. I think the Rams beat the 49ers. Week 5. No teams on bye either. So Broncos at Colts. I think it's going to be the Broncos. Dolphins at Jets. I say Broncos at Jets. I mean Dolphins. Yeah, I said Dolphins at Jets. The Dolphins are going to beat the Jets. The Steelers against the Bills. The Bills are going to beat the Steelers. Texans at Jaguars. I think the Jaguars will beat the Texans. Chargers at Browns. The Chargers are going to beat the Browns. Bengals at Ravens. I think the Ravens are going to get the first win against the Bengals and cause the Bengals to get a loss here. Raiders at Chiefs. Is their second game already? You know what? It's at Arrowhead. I think the Raiders are going to pull off the upset with Devontae Adams. I think the Raiders are going to beat the Chiefs. Lions at Patriots. The weird thing is, the Lions always have weird luck against the Patriots. I think the Lions are going to pull it off against the Patriots this year. Titans at Commanders. The Titans are going to beat the Commanders. Giants at Packers. I think the Packers will beat the Giants. Bears at Vikings. The Vikings should beat the Bears. Seahawks at Saints. Saints are going to beat the Seahawks. Falcons at the Buccaneers. Buccaneers are going to beat the Falcons. 49ers at Panthers. It sucks because I could see either one of these winning. I think the Panthers go down. I think the 49ers are going to beat the Panthers. The Panthers are going to start having their withdrawal now. Cowboys at Rams. I think the Cowboys are going to get the upset over the Rams. Eagles at Cardinals. I think the Cardinals are going to get the upset over the Eagles here. In my opinion, it would be an upset. I think the Eagles are a better team, but the Cardinals are going to start getting some wins once they get Hollywood Brown back. Jaguars at Colts. See, this is where I think it turns around. I think the Jaguars are going to beat the Colts at Indianapolis this time. Patriots at Browns. The Patriots are going to beat the Browns. Bills at Chiefs. I think this year, start the season, Chiefs are going to beat the Bills. Broncos at Chargers. I think the Broncos are going to get the first win over the Chargers here. The first Chargers game here. Jets at Packers. I think the Packers will beat the Jets. Bengals at Saints. I think the Bengals will beat the Saints. Ravens at Giants. I think the Ravens will beat the Giants. Buccaneers at Steelers. It sucks because I feel like the Steelers are going to get more wins, but I just can't see it with Mitchell Trubisky or Kenny Pickett starting, honestly. I think Kenny Pickett's going to be good. It's just hard for me to see them get so many wins. I think they'll start winning games. You don't have to worry about them. I think they might go like an 8-9 at all this season, honestly. Vikings at Dolphins. I think the Dolphins are going to pull up the upset against the Vikings. The Vikings are going to start letting us down here soon, like they always do. Commanders at Bears. I think the Bears are going to pull off the upset and get the first one of the season against the Commanders. 49ers at Falcons. I got to believe the 49ers are going to beat the Falcons, man. Cardinals at Seahawks. I think the Cardinals will beat the Seahawks. It's hard for me to see the Seahawks winning, bro. Their team, I played with it on Madden, bro. It's just so fucking bad. Panthers at Rams. Rams will beat the Panthers. Cowboys at Eagles. I think the Cowboys will beat the Eagles. Colts at Titans. What does the bed mean there? I don't know. Okay, whatever. Colts at Titans. This is their second game, I think. I think Titans will pull up the upset against the Colts. Browns at Ravens. I think the Ravens will end up beating the Browns. Texans at Raiders. I think the Raiders will beat the Texans. Jets at Broncos. The Broncos will beat the Jets. The Broncos are going to get off to a hell of a start on my predictions here. I just see their games. I'm just like, man, I feel like Russell Wilson's going to take it over, bro. I think he's going to have a really resurgence after last year. Steelers at Dolphins, I think. I think Dolphins beat the Steelers here. Falcons at Bengals. I think the Bengals will beat the Falcons. Giants at Jaguars. I think the Jaguars are going to beat the Giants. Yeah, I just don't think the Giants are going to be very good this year, man. It's hard for me to see it with their team either. Kayvon Thibodeau is going to be a standout, but their offense, Daniel Jones, it's not going to be it, man. Neither is Tyrod Taylor. Seahawks at Chargers. Chargers will beat the Seahawks. The Seahawks still haven't gotten a win. Chiefs at 49ers. And the Chiefs will beat the 49ers. Bears at Patriots. Patriots are going to beat the Bears. Saints at Cardinals. And the Cardinals will beat the Saints here. Lions at Cowboys. The Cowboys will end up beating the Lions, unfortunately. Packers at Commanders. Packers will beat the Commanders. Buccaneers at Panthers. Yeah, the Buccaneers will beat the Panthers. I don't see the Panthers winning. Broncos at Jaguars. Got to be the Broncos. I can't see them losing into the Jaguars. Patriots at Jets. You know what? I think the Jets going to pull up the upset the Steelers. They're going to beat the Patriots. Titans at Texans. Texans are going to pull up another upset as well. This is going to be the week of upsets, I think. I think I can see some upsets, man. I'm not going to lie to you. Bengals at Browns. I think the Bengals fall. Browns are going to beat the Bengals here. I think Jacoby Brissett's going to pull something out of a fucking hat here, man. I said I think this might be the week of upsets. Ravens at Buccaneers. It's going to be a good game right here. I do think the Ravens are going to end up over the Buccaneers. I think Lamar Jackson's going to find a way, man. Raiders at Saints. Obviously, this is not going to be perfect. I'm going to say it here now we're at week 8. I'm just kind of going along and putting things together of who I think. I'm just kind of looking at it and just be like, you know what? Sometimes it's obvious, like, I think he's just going to be him. It's just pretty obvious. Sometimes I like to think upset-wise. There are going to be teams that will pull off upsets, man. It's going to happen. And people always be like, oh, well, why would you have this team winning? I'm like, man, it's just an upset, bro. That's what it's called, an upset. Raiders at Saints. I think the Raiders will beat the Saints. Steelers at Eagles. I think the Steelers are going to pull off the upset against the Eagles. And it's crazy. This is where the Steelers, I think, are going to start getting their wins, man. Past week 8, the Steelers are going to start getting their wins. Dolphins at Lions. And the Eagles, honestly, they don't have that great of a team. I mean, they look good on paper. I mean, they do, but they don't. That's a problem. I see their defense as an issue. I just don't think Darius Slay can do it. Their defensive backs, the defensive backfield, I just don't think it's very good, man. Up front, they're okay, but defensively, it's gonna hurt them this year, man. Dolphins at Lions. I think the Lions are gonna beat the Dolphins. It sucks because the Dolphins should win games, but I think it's going to be tough for them. Commanders at Colts. I think the Colts will beat the Commanders. Packers at Bills. I think the Bills will end up beating the the Packers. Bears at Cowboys. Cowboys will beat the Bears. Cardinals at Vikings. I think the Cardinals will beat the Vikings. Wow, the Cardinals are 5-3. Damn, they must have won like 5 games straight. I don't understand what I'm doing here, but I'm doing it. Panthers at Falcons. I think the Panthers will beat the Falcons. Giants at Seahawks. I think this is where the Seahawks get their first win of the season. I'm going to beat the Giants. 49ers at Rams. I think the 49ers beat Rams. This is the second game here, right? Yeah, I think so. I believe. I could be wrong. Colts at Patriots. I think the Colts beat the Patriots here. Bills at Jets. Bills are going to beat the Jets. Raiders at Jaguars. The Raiders will beat the Jaguars. Titans at Chiefs. The Chiefs will beat the Titans. Wow, everyone in the AFC North is going to, or AFC East or West is going to make the playoffs right now. I mean, it could happen. I can very much see it happening. This isn't a joke, man. Like, I could see that happening. Who do we got? Oh, we'll figure it out after the season. After this week, we got the Eagles versus the Texans. The Eagles will beat the Texans. The Texans just, I mean, they got a good quarterback. They just don't got that team yet, man. They don't. I think Davis Mills is going to be a really good quarterback for them. I mean, people can say what they want. I'm a Davis Mills believer, all right? Dolphins at Bears. I think the Dolphins will beat the Bears. Panthers at Bengals. And the Bengals will beat the Panthers. Chargers at Falcons. I think the Chargers will beat the Falcons. Ravens at Saints. I think the Ravens will beat the Saints. Packers at Lions. I think the Packers will beat the Lions. Vikings at Commanders. I think the Vikings will beat the Commanders. I just don't see the Commanders being very good, man. I like Carson Wentz, man. I just can't see them being very good. Seahawks at Cardinals. I think the Seahawks pull up the upset in Arizona, and they somehow beat the Cardinals. And the Cardinals are just going to stay stagnant, man. It sucks, but they will. They just. I don't know if Kyler Murray's the guy anymore. Like, I was a Kyler Murray believer, but I just don't think he's the guy anymore, honestly. Rams at Buccaneers. I think Rams pull it off and they beat Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. Crazy, the Buccaneers have... Oh, they're still 6-3. I mean, it's not bad. Broncos at Titans. I didn't think the Broncos will beat the Titans. Jaguars at Chiefs. I think the Chiefs will beat the Jaguars. Not tie. They'll beat the Jaguars. Browns at Dolphins. I think the Dolphins beat Browns. This is the week before they get Deshaun Watson back. So I think Jacoby Brissett can get them 4 wins, man. I really do. Just looking at the teams they face. I mean, and they got a great back. If they utilize their running backs very well, and they got a great defense too. If they utilize all of this, they won't need Jacoby Brissett to help them win games. Colts at Raiders. I think the Colts will beat the Raiders here. The Colts are Raiders. I mean, I think they might not. I think they might barely miss the playoffs as well. It's a possibility. I'll see as I keep going here. Texans at Giants. I think the Giants will beat the Texans. The Texans are good. They got a good quarterback, but they're not going to beat every bad team. I think every team at least has a win now. At least, yeah, they do. Except the Broncos are the only ones without a loss. Saints at Steelers. I think the Steelers beat the Saints. Vikings at Bills. I think the Bills beat the Vikings. Chargers at 49ers. I think the 49ers pull up the upset against the Chargers. Falcons at Panthers. Wow, I don't have the Saints being very good this year. I mean, it's a possibility. It definitely is. For me, it's a possibility that they're just not very good. Falcons at Panthers. I think the Falcons beat the Panthers the second time around. What they're looking at, yeah, they're both not looking very good. Which is what's going to end up happening, honestly. I just don't see it being very good. I like Baker, but I can't see him. I can't see that team being very good, honestly. I just think Matt Rule isn't the coach, man. I really don't. I did like Matt Rule when he first got signed, but he proved to himself that he's just not going to be able to cut it. Lions at Bears. I think the Lions will beat the Bears. I think the Lions are a better team than the Bears, to be honest with you. Seahawks at Buccaneers. Buccaneers going to beat the Seahawks. Cardinals at Rams. I think the Rams will beat the Cardinals. Cowboys at Packers. I think the Cowboys are going to beat the Packers. Commanders at Eagles. Hard for me to see the Eagles losing the Commanders. It really is. Jets at Patriots. Patriots are going to beat the Jets for them beating them the first time, and the only Jets win is against the Patriots. They're starting Joe Flacco, so they must not. There must be something with Zach Wilson that they don't like. I mean, unless Zach Wilson's hurt, but I haven't heard anything about Zach Wilson being hurt. Zach Wilson's out till week 4, but I guess we'll see what happens. Browns at Bills. The Bills will beat the Browns. Actually, yeah, he's not going to. Deshaun Watson's not going to be back here. Raiders at Broncos. I think the Broncos are going to get their first loss this season. I think the Raiders are going to pull out the upset against the Broncos. Chiefs at Chargers. I think Chiefs are going to beat the Chargers this time. The Chargers beat them the first time, but I don't see the Chargers beating them twice. Bengals at Steelers. The Bengals will beat the Steelers. Titans at Packers. I can't see the Packers losing the Titans. Commanders at Texans. I think the Commanders will beat the Texans. Eagles at... I'm trying to look at their record, too. Eagles at Colts. That's a tough one, man. That is. I think that is a tough one. The Jaguars, they have a bye week this week? They do. Eagles at Colts, huh? I think the Eagles beat the Colts. Panthers at Ravens. Hard for me to see the Ravens losing to the Panthers. Rams at Saints. Hard for me to see the Rams losing to the Saints. Lions at Giants. I think the Giants will beat the Lions here. I mean, Dan Campbell's group is going to be good. They're not going to be that good. I do think they will. They do have potential to be good in the future. Just it's not going to be this year, man. And they're going to lose to bad teams, just like they'll beat bad teams. You know, they're not going to beat every good team, and they're going to lose to a lot of good teams. Bears at Falcons. I think the Bears pull up the upset against the Falcons. The Falcons just don't. They don't have a really good defense. No, they have a really good team, to be honest with you. Cowboys at the Vikings. The Cowboys are going to beat the Vikings. 49ers at the Cardinals. I got to say the 49ers, man. So as of right now, the Broncos would be the 1 seed, the 2 seed would be the Bills, 3 seed Ravens, 4 seed Colts. The 5th seed would be the Chiefs, 6th seed would be the Bengals, and 7th seed would be the Chargers. The 1st seed would be the Cowboys, the 2nd seed would be the Packers, 3rd seed 49ers, 4th seed Buccaneers, 5th seed Rams, 6th seed Eagles, and 7th seed Vikings. Bengals at Titans. I think the Bengals will beat the Titans. Titans are really gonna have this bad a year. I can't see it. I mean, I see them winning games. The games they face, I just don't know. Sorry, I had to pause there for a second. Texans at Dolphins. I think it's got to go to the Dolphins. Ravens at Jaguars. I think the Ravens get upset here. I think Jaguars win. The Jaguars are going to pull off some upsets this year. I can see it. Sorry, had to pause it for a second. Steelers at Colts. I think the Steelers pull off against the Colts. Colts will be good, but they're not going to be that good this year. Bills at Lions. Bills will beat the Lions. I think Patriots will beat the Vikings. Bears at Jets. I think the Jets will beat the Bears. What is the Jets records? 2-9 records. Broncos at Panthers. Broncos at the Panthers. Yeah, I'm not actually serious. This is gonna be the Broncos. Buccaneers at Browns. I thought the Browns are supposed to come back against the Texans, and Deshaun Watson came back. He's on an 11-week suspension, isn't he? When did the Browns face the Texans? Was this the previous week? He has an 11-week suspension, doesn't he? His first game back was supposed to be against the Texans. Did he face it? Okay, so he's out for week 12, I guess. I don't know. I suppose that's how it makes sense because there's no week 0. Yeah, I'm just stupid. I'm sorry. So yeah, Buccaneers will beat the Browns. Raiders at the Seahawks. I think the Raiders will beat the Seahawks. Chargers at the Cardinals. I think the Chargers will beat the Cardinals. Rams at the Chiefs. I think the Rams pull up the upset against the Chiefs. The Giants at the Cowboys. The Cowboys will easily beat the Giants. Falcons at the Commanders. Commanders will beat the Falcons. Saints at the 49ers. I think the Saints pull up the upset on the 49ers. Saints are still good, and they're not bad. The 49ers, they ain't the best team either. So I mean, Packers at Eagles. I think the Packers beat the Eagles. I just can't see the Packers, even without Devontae Adams. I just can't see us being terrible like that. Even though maybe not 9, we're not going to win 13 games. I guess I'm just over probably doing it right now just because of Packers bias. But I don't know. Bills at Patriots. Bills will beat the Patriots. Browns at Texans. The Browns will beat the Texans. Deshaun Watson's going to be back, and I think Deshaun Watson's going to start off real hot. Broncos at Ravens. I think the Ravens will end up beating the Broncos. Chargers at the Raiders. I think the Raiders will end up beating the Chargers. Chiefs at the Bengals. I think Chiefs beat the Bengals here in the middle of the season. Jets at the Vikings. The Vikings will beat the Jets. Jaguars at the Lions. I think the Jaguars will beat the Lions. The Jaguars would be the number 4 seed after what I have them going for right now. 6-6. Steelers at Falcons. Steelers will beat the Falcons. Titans at the Eagles. Titans will beat the Eagles. Dolphins at the 49ers. What do I have the Dolphins record at? 6-5. You know what? I think the Dolphins pull it off against the 49ers. Colts at Cowboys. I think the Colts pull up the upset against the Cowboys. The Cowboys, I mean, they're going to start losing games at one point. They're not the perfect team, and they're not going to make it all the way. Packers at the Bears. I think the Packers will beat the Bears. It's hard for me to see a lot of the NFC and whatever teams beating them. NFC North teams losing to the Bears. Commanders at the Giants. I got the Commanders beating the Giants. I think the Commanders are still a better team than the Giants. Seahawks at the Rams. I think the Rams will beat the Seahawks. Saints at the Buccaneers, and the Buccaneers. Actually, I think the Saints pull off the upset against the Buccaneers. I mean, the Saints. I don't think the Saints go 2-0 against the Buccaneers this year like they did the last 2 years. I think this is the second game. I think I had the Buccaneers win the first game, but they're not gonna go, or they're not gonna go 0-2 against the Saints. I think they will go 1-1 this year. I just can't see that continuing. Jaguars at Titans. I think the Titans will beat the Jaguars because Derrick Henry always runs it up on the Jaguars. Jets at Bills. Bills are going to beat the Jets. Browns at Bengals. I think the Browns pull up the upset against the Bengals here. I think I had them pulling up the upset last time too. But did I? What week was the Browns Bengals? Let me go back and look. If I had them pulling off the upset, then Browns versus Bengals. When did they play? October 31st. So they played basically. So they played like October 31st. They played week 8. Did I have? I did the Browns. So I think the Bengals are going to beat the Browns that time. What was I at here? Week 13? Nope, I'm at week 14. I do think the Browns pulls off the upset against the Bengals here. Ravens at Steelers. I think the Steelers beat the Ravens. I think the Ravens are, they're not as good as a team as they think they are. And the Steelers, they're going to get hot at one point because I just can't see Mike Tomlin at least going below 8 wins. Not even below, at least below 7 wins, man. Dolphins at Chargers. I think the Dolphins pull up the upset on the Chargers. Chiefs at Broncos. And the Chiefs will pull up the upset on the Broncos here. Raiders at the Rams. I think the Rams will beat the Raiders. Texans at the Cowboys. Cowboys will beat the Texans. Patriots at the Cardinals. Patriots will beat the Cardinals. Vikings at the Lions. I think the Lions beat the Vikings this time around. Eagles at the Giants. Eagles will beat the Giants. Buccaneers at the 49ers. I think the Buccaneers will beat the 49ers. Panthers at the Seahawks. I think the Panthers will beat the Seahawks. It's hard for me to Seahawks. I think the Seahawks might actually have the worst record this year. It's just hard for me to see them winning games. Their team is just so bad, man. Ravens at the Browns. I think the Browns beat the Ravens here. Dolphins at the Bills. I think the Dolphins pull up the upset and beat the Bills here. Chiefs at Texans. Chiefs will beat the Texans. Titans at Chargers. Chargers will beat the Titans. Patriots at the Raiders. I think the Raiders beat the Patriots. I don't think the Patriots are going to be as good as they were last year, man. It's hard for me to see it. I think Mac Jones regresses a little bit, and I think I think the defensive backfield is just absolutely terrible. I think their defense isn't even that great, honestly. Their entire defense, I don't think is that great, honestly. Colts at the Vikings. I think the Colts will beat the Vikings. How are the Vikings looking now? They're 6-8, yet still in the playoffs. Wow. Steelers at Panthers. I think the Steelers will beat the Panthers. Cowboys at Jaguars. Cowboys will beat the Jaguars. Lions at Jets. I think the Lions will beat the Jets. Actually, I think the Giants will beat the Lions. The Lions, man, they're not going to beat every bad team, man. I think the 5 of their wins are mostly against bad teams, man. Or the Vikings, or just getting an upset over somebody. But I think the Jets will beat the Lions here in week 15. Cardinals at the Broncos. Broncos will end up beating the Cardinals. Bengals at the Buccaneers. I think the Bengals pull off against the Buccaneers, man. 49ers at the Seahawks. 49ers will beat the Seahawks. Falcons at the Saints. I think the Saints will beat the Falcons. Giants at the Commanders. I think the Giants will end up beating the Commanders this time around. Eagles at the Bears. The Eagles will beat the Bears. Rams at the Packers. I think the Rams will pull off against the Packers here in Week 15. Week 16, Jaguars at Jets. I think the Jaguars will pull it off against the Jets. I wish I could move the damn thing here, but it's being very picky. Jaguars are 7 and 8, huh? Texans at Titans. Yeah, I think the Titans beat the Texans. If I can move this thing at all. Titans beat the Texans. Bengals at Patriots. I think Patriots pull up the upset here and beat the Bengals. Raiders at the Steelers. I think the Raiders will end up beating the Steelers. Chargers at the Colts. I think the Raiders are going to be way better than people think they're going to be, honestly. I can't see them being below 9 wins, man. I actually can't. Chargers at Colts. I think the Chargers do beat the Colts here. Bills at Bears. I think the Bills will beat the Bears. Seahawks at Chiefs. The Chiefs will beat the Seahawks. Falcons at Ravens. Ravens will beat the Falcons. Saints at Browns. I think the Browns will beat the Saints. Packers at Dolphins. The Packers will beat the Dolphins. Broncos at Rams. I didn't pick the Broncos. I don't know why. I didn't pick the Rams. I don't know why I did that, but that's a tough one. I think the Broncos beat the Rams. Giants at Vikings. I think the Vikings will beat the Giants. The Vikings are still in the playoff, even though with a losing record now. Commanders at 49ers. 49ers are going to beat the Commanders. This website is very laggy, and I have no idea why. Eagles at Cowboys. I think the Eagles beat the Cowboys here. I think I had the Cowboys beat the Eagles in the first one. So I think the Eagles do beat the Cowboys. Buccaneers at Cardinals. I think the Buccaneers do beat the Cardinals. Oh, Cardinals are going to be unexpectedly bad. Wow. Broncos at Chiefs. I think the Broncos pull off against the Chiefs. I'm not sure if I had the Chiefs beat the Broncos first. The Broncos beat the Chiefs first. I can't remember. Nah. I think I did have the Broncos beat the Chiefs. I don't think they go 2-0 against the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs might still end up being the best team in the AFC West. Ugh. But, yeah. Jaguars at Texans. Does anyone have a bye week? No. Jaguars at the Texans. I think the Texans will beat the Jaguars here. Steelers at Ravens. I think the Ravens will beat the Steelers. I think I had the Steelers beating the Ravens last time, but Ravens will end up beating the Steelers. Dolphins at Patriots. I think the Dolphins will beat the Patriots this time around. I think I had them winning the Patriots winning the first game, but Dolphins will beat the Patriots this time around. Bills at Bengals. I got the Bills beating the Bengals. Cowboys at Titans. I got the Cowboys beating the Titans. I think the Titans are going to be as good this year, man. I think it's time to move on from Ryan Tannehill. And I think them moving on from A.J. Brown wasn't a good idea either. And yeah, Browns at Commanders. I think the Browns beat the Commanders. Colts at Giants. I think the Colts will beat the Giants. 49ers at Raiders. 49ers upset the Raiders. Jets at Seahawks. I think the Seahawks will upset the Jets here, even though I think the Jets might have a better chance of winning. But then they're both 3-13. So Rams at the Chargers. I think the Chargers upset the Rams. Panthers at the Buccaneers. Buccaneers will beat the Panthers. Cardinals at the Falcons. Cardinals will beat the Falcons. Bears at the Lions. I think the Bears will beat the Lions this time around. Saints at the Eagles. I think the Saints pull up the upset against the Eagles, man. Saints beat the Eagles. Come on. Vikings at the Packers. I think the Vikings pull up the upset on the Packers again this time. And that means the Kirk Cousins curse is going to take over the Vikings again this year, unfortunately. Or the Packers again. It's unfortunate. Chiefs at the Raiders. I think the Chiefs beat the Raiders and end up being the best team in the AFC East or West. I just can't see them not being the best team in the AFC West. Broncos at Chargers. I do think the Broncos finished off against the Chargers. Browns at Steelers. The Chargers always they lose their last game, man. They're just not very good at keeping it. And they're going to need the win because it's going to be a tight contested race for all of them. Actually, yes, the Broncos would start their starters because if the Chiefs lose to the Raiders, then if the Broncos beat the Chargers, the Broncos would be the number one seed. Oh, sorry. As the number one seed, they'd be the best in the division. Right? Nope. So no matter what the Chiefs think. So I think Chargers beat the Broncos then. And then Chargers beat the Raiders. Well, no. I think the Raiders beat the Chargers because the Chiefs aren't going to be starting their starters. And the Raiders will be. Because the Broncos and Chiefs here have no reason to start their starters because no matter what, Chiefs are in first place here and the Broncos are in... That's not true because if the Chargers beat the Raiders beat, yeah. So the Broncos would be starting their starters here. The Chiefs won't have to start their starters. The Raiders will win. But I think the Broncos beat the Chargers. Browns at Steelers. You know what? I think the Browns beat the Steelers, end up 9-8. Still miss the playoffs, but it's how it's going to be. Titans at the Jaguars. I gotta give it to the Titans. The Titans gonna beat the Jaguars. Ravens at Bengals. I do think the Bengals beat the Ravens here. Fortunately. Oh yeah, the Bengals would go over the Ravens. It's not changing for some reason, but that's what would happen. Yep, there you go. The Bengals are gonna win the AFC North, and the Ravens are gonna come in a close second. And they're both gonna be starting their starters. Patriots at Bills. Patriots will beat the Bills because the Bills aren't gonna be starting their starters. Texans at Colts. The Colts won't be starting their starters because they got no reason to. They're stuck in the 4th seed no matter what. So I think the Texans beat the Colts. Jets at Dolphins. Yeah, I think they're stuck in the 4th seed no matter what. Dolphins at Jets. I think the Dolphins will beat the Jets just for a chance that they don't even have a chance to make the playoffs either. So unless the Bengals lose and they do make the playoffs, so they will be starting their starters anyway. Cardinals at 49ers. I mean, if the Rams lose, the Cardinals could win the division here. Possibly. Let me look. Yeah. So I think both teams start their starters, and I think the 49ers beat the Cardinals, the Rams beat the Seahawks. Lions versus the Packers. If the Packers have a shot for the number 1 seed, the Packers are starting their starters, and the Packers are going to beat the Lions. Am I really going to give the Cowboys a number 1 seed? Ain't no way they're going to be that good. But I don't think the Packers get number 1 seed either. I think it's a possibility. Because I don't see the Buccaneers being that good. I think the Cowboys might be the best team in all the NFC this year. They're not going to win the Super Bowl, but Vikings at Bears. Vikings will be starting their starters. Vikings are going to beat the Bears. Because if the Vikings lose, then they're out of the... Gosh, the Vikings lose, then they're still in the playoffs, but they're going to finish the losing record, so the Vikings will end up starting their starters anyway. Panthers at Saints. Game doesn't matter. Saints will beat the Panthers. Wait a minute. Unless the Bears beat the Vikings, will the Saints make the playoffs? Nope. Vikings don't make the playoffs. No matter what, the Vikings are going to make the playoffs. So, but they're not going to have. They don't want to have a losing record and make the playoffs. They're going to start their starters. Giants at Eagles. Eagles lose. I think they could lose their spot to the Vikings, their 6th seed. Yes, they could. So I do think the Eagles keep facing the Vikings. Because when you got a chance to get a higher seed, you want a higher seed, man. Trust me. Cowboys at Commanders. Cowboys won't be starting their starters, so the Commanders are going to win. Right? Yep. The Cowboys are got number 1 seed no matter what. Even if the Packers win. But if the Buccaneers win, do they take the 1 seed? They do take the 2 seed. So the Buccaneers will be starting their starters. But the Rams take the 1 seed if the Buccaneers win. So yeah, the Cowboys would take their starters on the field. I think they beat the Commanders. And the Buccaneers will have their starters. It's going to look like every team's going to have their starters on the field here. And there's going to be no other way for them to do it without having their starters on the field. Now playoffs. So to end it, it's going to be the Bills at number 1 seed, the Chiefs at 2 seed, Bengals at the 3 seed, Colts at the 4 seed. Sorry, Bills at the 1st seed with a 14-3 record, Chiefs at the 2 seed with a 13-4 record, Bengals at the 3 seed with a 12-5 record, Colts at the 4 seed with a 9-8 record, Broncos at the 5th seed with a 13-4 record, Raiders at the 6th seed with a 12-5 record, and then Ravens at the 7th seed with a 12-5 record. And it'll be the Cowboys at the 1st seed with a 13-4 record, the Rams at the 2 seed with a 12-5 record, Buccaneers at the 3rd seed with a 12-5 record, Packers at the 4th seed with a 12-5 record, 49ers at the 5th seed with an 11-6 record, Eagles at the 6th seed with a 10-7 record, and the Vikings at the 7th seed with a 9-8 record. Then the teams that didn't make the playoffs on the AFC side, we got the Chargers, the Dolphins with 11-6 record, which is unfortunate. That 11-6 isn't going to make the playoffs, but that's how it goes. Patriots at a 9-8 record, Jets at a 3-14 record, Chargers at 11-6 record, Browns at a 9-8 record, Steelers at a 7-10 record, Titans and Jaguars at a 7-10 record, and Texans with a 4-13 record. We had the Giants and Commanders with a 4-13 record, Eagles, Cardinals with a 6-11 record, Seahawks with a 3-14 record, Saints with an 8-9 record, Panthers with a 4-12, Falcons with a 2-15, Lions with a 5-11, Bears with a 3-14. Now for the wild card round, I think the Broncos will end up beating the Colts. And the Colts once again will be out in the wild card round this year. Raiders at Bengals. I do think the Bengals beat the Raiders and they move on. Ravens at Chiefs. I do think the Chiefs beat the Ravens. '49ers at Packers. I think the Packers will finally overcome the 49ers in the playoffs. I think that's what happens. Eagles at Buccaneers. The Buccaneers are going to, unfortunately, knock the Eagles out of the playoffs again. I think they did it 2 years ago. No, that was they did it at some point. Yeah, they did it last year. And the Vikings at the Rams. Unfortunately, the Rams are going to knock the Vikings out of the playoffs. The NFC has no teams here. Oh, there we go. AFC versus NFC. AFC. Why did I say that? AFC Bengals at the Chiefs. Unfortunately, I think the Bengals are going to get knocked out of the division by the Chiefs this year. It's unfortunate. I think it's going to be basically a reverse of what happened last year. Bengals beat the Chiefs in the regular season and they beat them in the playoffs. This year it's a reverse. Chiefs beat them in the regular season and the Chiefs beat them in the playoffs. Then I do think the Bills knock off the Broncos. Then on the NFC side, I do think the Rams knock off the Buccaneers once again. Unfortunately, the Cowboys knock off my Packers. Sucks. I mean, I just can't see the Packers making the Super Bowl without that number one receiver type role, unless Christian Watson or Romeo Dobbs really show up that role, but I can't see it. Bills at Chiefs. I do think the Bills beat the Chiefs finally in the playoffs, and we get the Bills in the Super Bowl. And then I do think we get the last year's Super Bowl champs in the playoffs, in the Super Bowl, and the Bills in the Super Bowl. I think we get a rematch from Week 1 against the Bills and the Rams, and then once again, the Bills are going to come out on top. And I do sincerely think the Bills will win the playoffs this year. All right. There you go, guys. That's my season predictions. It's been a long video. It's been almost an hour. But that is going to be it for this video. If you guys did enjoy, please do drop a like. Please go leave a comment about what you think the records are. Who's going to win the Super Bowl? Who's going to be the worst team in the league? I think we can actually look at the draft order. I think. Oh, maybe not. Okay. Oh, there you go. Yes, you can. The draft order. Falcons are going to have the number 1 pick this year. I think they get Bryce Young, man. Even with them drafting Desmond Ridder, man, you can't pass up on Bryce Young. And the Bears are not going to pick a quarterback. The Seahawks are going to end up getting C.J. Stroud. Bears are not going to get a quarterback. They're going to get somebody else. I can't tell you who right now. Jets, Giants. I think the Giants end up getting Anthony Richardson. I think he's going to be a top 5 selection in this year's draft. Other than that, yeah, I don't know what else people get. I'm not fully caught up on all the top prospects. So, yeah, once again, that'll be it for this video, guys. If you guys did enjoy, as I said, leave a like, drop a comment, go subscribe. Go follow my Twitch. I was live on there yesterday with Rebuilding the Indianapolis Colts. I'll be live on there today with another episode of Police Simulator. And I'll be live on there Saturday when I rebuild the New York Jets on Madden 23. And, of course, the Twitch link will be in the description below, along with my Twitter and Instagram. And I will see you guys here in the next stream/video. Thanks for tuning in.